Hey there, my Flesh and Blood BFF. So today we are continuing our Project Blue deck architecture discussion. Today again with a KO build where we're going to be doing a top-down one. We're going to be starting with my KO Skirmish deck that I was using for testing and gemming for Skirmish Season 12. We're going to take that and we're going to dumb it down, so to speak, into a no-miss KO build for Project Blue. You're watching Budget Format Fab on Dice Commando, your BFF for all things in budget Flesh and Blood. Coming to you midweek each week. These videos are possible thanks to the support of our channel members. If you want to get involved with the channel and join us on our community Discord, please consider joining as a member. You can be our BFF and show your support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving a comment. Community first, and go Commando. Hey my BFF, so before we get into the actual deck building, I kind of want to talk the overall strategy for this. Now, KO is one of those heroes where if you go and you look at, a constructed build for him, it's pretty easy to just dumb it down because you go from the Majestic to kind of a rare backfill, right? You're kind of looking for 2 6s, you're looking for stuff with 5. And by and large, you can just kind of, and you can even do this just from a normal CC budget standpoint, right? There's a lot of, they may not be super as effective, but they're very, very, very equivalent backfills, at least conceptually. Now, there is one exception to that in Project Blue, and that is Bloodrush Bellow. Okay, so this is obviously a brute staple. There's nothing that really does anything like what Bloodrush Bellow does that we could do a backfill for, right? There's front pumps and stuff like that. But in lieu of not having this card, and to be fair, Wreck-A-Romp is there, or not Wreck-A-Romp, Reckless Swing, excuse me. Reckless Swing's not there as well. That one's not as bad. This one, not having this one, is a big deal. So instead of doing kind of the normal KO build thing, what we're going to do is dumb it down into a complete no-miss build, right? So that every time you go to do a top deck thing, you're going to hit 100%, right? Most of the KO builds out there are nearly no-miss because this is good, as is like Reckless and all that stuff, right? Maybe a no fear as it may be, but we're going full on no-miss with this, okay? So what you see here, this is the KO no-miss dumb down, okay? And I will put the link below so you can check it out when we're done. Now, we're going to use a very similar process as we've been using. What we're going to do is look at, so I've copied a completely legal deck and then changed the format. So what you see here is you do see cards that say that they're not legal. Makes complete sense. Now, what's fun about KO, I should say brutes in particular, is they actually have a fair amount of like very legitimate helm equipment. So for example, look at Flesh Bag. Well, let's just remove that, which we can't play, and then just go straight into KO's Helm Knucklehead. It's a 2 temper. That's pretty good. Okay, now into the chest piece, sure, you can't do quite the thing you need to do, but we have the OG Barkbone Strapping, 1 Battle Worn, and maybe no resources, maybe a bunch of resources, who knows, right? It's very broody, but it'll get the job done. Beaten Trackers, I play that anyway in main board, it's there. Now, the arm slot is a little less straightforward, at least for now. We do have Gauntlet of Might, which is a 1 blade break. And then you can destroy it alternatively to create a Might token, but you can't do both, right? So I think what we end up going for is Goliath Gauntlet on this, or you could just default, or your choice, you could just default to Blade Beckoner, right? I don't see a reason to run Gauntlet of Might for now, but, it's an option, okay? Now, one card that, again, is, Majestic with no real true backfill is Eastrike, but there's a very interesting card that we can use, and that is Ravenous Rabble. So Ravenous Rabble is fun in its way because it has 5. So this is a 6 for KO, and it just does the thing for you, right? So I think that's relatively equivalent. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in for now. And then we will remove E-Strike. Okay, now Runner. This one, super easy to backfill, right? This one, we just need, this is a really cool one that I like to play with because you do have agility, but it's Majestic. So what we're going to do for now is we're going to put this into the maybe zone because I don't have a direct one that can backfill in my head. Again, there's plenty of options. Now, Swing Big needs to also go into the maybes. Obviously, no equivalent backfill there, but again, plenty of options. And then if we want to keep the same pitch, which to be fair, I don't know that we necessarily will, because a lot of these we're just playing because it's good stuff. Beast Within, obviously not playable, so let's put it in. Let's just go ahead and remove Bloodrush Bellow, because we know we're not going to directly backfill for that. And then Send Packing we can also put in the maybes. Okay. So we didn't have to remove any blues. We did kind of screw with our yellows. But again, we don't quite need necessarily, because some of those yellows are just there because they're good cards, and it's not necessarily because we want the pitch. And in many cases for this, basically what you're trying to do is go 2, claw 2, or maybe a 1, right? You just need some mix thereof. So having extra blues is not going to be a bad thing. Right, so we can go ahead and remove Scabbies because, I mean, it is what it is. Skullhorn we can remove. I'm just playing that because of the AB. And then Reckless Swing in the sideboard, we can remove that. Now, one card I think we just want to go ahead and add is Bare Fangs, right? So that one is currently, I have one of them in my inventory, or my sideboard, I should say. But let's just go ahead and do that. Oh, the other one must be in the maybes. Or it's already in the deck. Is it already in the deck? It's already in the deck. Okay, that's where it is. All right, fair enough. And then let's go ahead and remove Cast Bones. Okay, so now in the maybe slots, we have 9 cards that we need to get in our deck, and we have 8 cards right here. So let's just start going and looking at, we'll get the filter set up. Okay, so we'll set power of 5 or more, right? Equal than or greater than. And then we'll go legal in. Where's legal in on this? It's not going to give it to us. Legal in, well, whatever. Oh, because it only show what it is. Fair enough. Okay, so there we go. Now that's going to give us everything that we have access to. Now, something that's worth thinking about is Battlefront Bastion, because Battlefront Bastion actually does really good things for us in like Kodachi matchups, right? Being able to block 1. So let's go ahead and put that one in inventory. I don't think we want it. So remember, this one is a 3. So we want this to either be yellow or blue because we're going to be primarily using it, of course, for doing blocking or pitching. Okay. Now, if we go into some of the other options we have available, there we go. That's looking a lot better. So we have another card, Critical Strike. I actually like this one, so let's take a look at this one, right? So it's just a 1/5. I get it. And this one's a common. Now, we're not going to use necessarily Critical Strike because once we go into blue, there are a lot of like one. I mean, the nice thing about this is it blocks 3, to be fair, but there's a lot of 1/5 options that are rare that actually do other things within, obviously, the Project Blue format. So we'll make sure that we're keeping our eyes out for that as well. Okay. Now, another option, and again, it's hard to not get too much into the commoner mindset here of going alter value, but Freewheeling Renegades is really interesting because it itself is a popper. Because remember that KO's ability does not work when it's on Chane. So all of his 5s are not actually poppers, right? So having a couple poppers throughout the deck, I should say a couple natural 6s, natty 6s within the deck, I think has a lot of value. Okay, so actually, you know what I'm going to do just for placeholder? I'm going to put this in the maybe, but there's going to be better options for us out there in terms of what we're looking at. Now, Gravekeeping is interesting, kind of one of those ones I talked about. But specifically the one I'm hoping to find here is Smash Up. And here it is right here, as well as another interesting one that is a 2/6 that I think we should kind of play. So it doesn't have Go Again, which I get it. But this card's pretty good. So I think that goes main board. And where are we at now? Okay. Now we obviously have no real backfill that's 1/1 for Swing Big. And then if we go and we look at some of our yellows, where are we sitting in terms of yellow? I mean, we've got a pretty, we've got enough yellows. One thing we could add actually, so this deck right now is playing 2 copies of Agile, the yellow and the blue, and it's only playing 1 copy of Mighty. So we actually could go just do Mighty. That's fine. Okay, and then we can also go look at just Savage Feast, right? So Savage Feast 1/6, Savage Feast yellow as a 1/5. Now, when you play it, you have to discard a card. So that's a little awkward. So that's something to think about as well. And I think you want to just do the red there. What is neat about this, remember, we can play Run Roughshod. So that's pretty neat. So I'm going to go ahead and throw Savage Feast in. Did you go in? It's going slow. There we go. All right. Now, one thing I am worried... So the other thing we can do, we can probably just go finish off Assault and Battery since we went kind of lower on yellows with all of this. That's probably what we need to do is just go add a blue in and round it out. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. And did we get all the 1/5s? Like, so the nice thing off the 1/5s is if you do have like a yellow and a blue, right? Because you don't necessarily, with the draw discard thing you're doing, right? With your wild rides and all that, you don't necessarily control what card's getting chucked, right? We get that. So that's a little, but anyway, I do think that we should just go Assault and Battery because it's right there. Assault and Battery makes sense to me. And then that gives us a 40 card deck. So now let's go look at, man, the extra sideboard space is so nice. But then we're just going to do some natural things. So what do we want with him? We can replace the hood. Ah, man, that's a tough choice there. It's a very tough choice. Very, very. Oh, and we still need to select an arm piece. That's one more piece that we're up. But that means we can go arm for sure. Probably we go, I think we do chest, I think. And that way we can still run beaten trackers because that's what we need to be able to get our action point off of our Bare Fangs, right? So good. All right, so now we're going to do just some of the, so Arcane Polarity. Whoops, that's not how, oh, wow, nice. It got it even though I misspelled it. Nicely done. Let's go Goliath just to get that in. Is it not? What? Oh, because Gauntlet's not legal in this format. All right, well, then I take that back. Fair enough. Blade Beckoner it is. Oh, man, I forgot about that. All right, there we go. So there's our loadout. And then we have 3 more. Our Arcane Polarities went into deck. Inventory. Okay, and then let's go ahead. So I don't think we want to do Oasis. I think we go actually... try and find some more poppers. Oh, so this one's actually one to think about. I didn't think about this one. It's card from hand, but Barraging Bighorn, yeah, let's go ahead and do that, actually. And now that's popper material for us. And that leaves us with 1 card, just 1 card. Actually, you know what I'm not super happy about is the fact that we don't have defense reactions, but I don't know... I don't think there's a lot we can do in Brute Territory to that end, right? So... oh, this is a card that we should have in there 100%. Rising Speed, 100% should have right. That should even be a main board card, right? That makes a lot of sense to me. So what do we actually want to then sideboard? I like Clash of Agility. That maybe... ooh, that's an interesting... it's 14, 10. I think that one, we might have too many on that one. Interesting. And another card, actually, as I'm looking through, Wreak Havoc's not a horrible choice. I mean, you don't usually run C&C, but it's a pretty good 2/6. I do like Sirens, though, because if you discard it, you can't, like, if you draw discard it, you get or from top. I like that, right? I don't hate that at all. So because I like Mighty Wind Up over Wrecker Romp in terms of yellow. I like Battlefront Bastion option. That puts us at 55. I mean, we're there. So the question just is, which one do we take out of deck and can we work in Wreak Havoc? Give me a sec to think this over. Okay, so I just removed Mighty Wind Up because that was the one that we had in and we were kind of back and forth on anyway. And that's still 14 blue. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. So I think Wreak Havoc then goes to deck. That puts us still at 42 in deck, 8 in inventory. And then tell you what, we can actually maybe make Wreak Havoc go in inventory and we can bring that in versus decks that we expect to be a little little chunkier from that standpoint. Okay, so what do we think about the pitch? Let me know. I think we're going to stick with this, but let me know what we think about the overall pitch ratio. It gets a little weird with the yellows because a lot of the yellows are also offensive for us, right? I mean, Pulping is pretty big, Wild Ride, Bare Fangs, like that's kind of the thing. So remember that your yellows are also offensive weapons, but of course they're still there. So I'm actually pretty happy with this overall. Barraging Binghorn is very interesting, actually. But I think Battlefront Bastion you want to have from like a, it does its thing, right? It absolutely does its thing because it can defend and then do another floating after the Kodachi. So, okay, I think we stick with that. So again, the deck link is below, but let's go ahead and sum up and look what we have just in case there's anything that we want to change just super quick. So we've got, for the loadout, we've got Strapping, Trackers, Gauntlets, Knucklehead, and Claw. We have Red Yellow Fangs, Clash of Agility. We have Red Yellow Pulping, Ravenous Rabble, Rising Speed. Yeah, I should have put that one in at the beginning. I like that one. Okay, we're on Savage Feast. It's a 1-drop. Sirens for the discard. Smash Up also is, again, just a legit good card. We have Wild Ride, Agile Windup, Mighty Windup, Sultan Battery, Rally the Coast Guard, Reincarnate, Run Roughshod, and Wrecker Romp. Okay, so not too shabby going into the inventory. We're AB3, which, we've got a lot of blues, so I think that's okay. We've got Arcane Polarity for the matchup we want to rush. Wreck Havoc, Battlefront Bastion. The weird thing about all polarity is it screws up our no-miss, but we're not on Oasis. Actually, I didn't want to be on Oasis for that very reason, but let's stick with this, right? We're in aggro. We'll just stay on polarity, and we'll see how things go and try to race them down. So anyway, that's my stab at the KO no-miss dumb down. Let me know your feedback. Last week we had really, really, really great feedback through the process. I really appreciated it. So bring it on, my friends, and go Commando.